everybody, Defense here, and welcome back to our Immersive Engineering PlayTorial. We are back, we're set, and we are ready to go. You will see a big difference. I don't think this was in the last episode. It has been a little bit since the prior one, and I don't think any of this had been built, but I could be wrong. But this is going to be our little base area. I was going to build a big base, and I decided I don't want to do that. I want to have some fun here. I also just noticed these aren't connected, but we'll deal with that later. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with what we've done. So we've moved everything except for the animals into here so far. So I just slaughtered a bunch of cows, so we're going to ignore them. Same thing, I got rid of pretty much all of my chickens. And we're probably going to get rid of most of the sheep too, because we really don't need them. But this is what we're rocking here. I think it's pretty cool. It's simple. I like the way it looks. It uses a couple of the blocks from Immersive Engineering. Obviously, this is the treated wood plank slabs, and this is hempcrete slabs. And then this is just the, what do they call it? Deep slate brick slabs. That's the one we're rocking right there. And I've set up a little bit of stuff here. So we have an upper area there running our pair of windmills. Right now we're just running windmills. I haven't really moved any of the other stuff or set up anything else yet in relation to power, aside from a little battery setup. But we've got some stuff running through to transmit our power around, and we'll be able to work with that. We've got our little kind of area set up over here. We're full up. I started automating this, so you can, if you put a hopper underneath, you can output directly into here. And it'll do some work there. So let's actually grab those. Boom, 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 boom. Whoop, come on. That was weird. I couldn't auto put the last one in. I also need more buckets, so we're going to do that in a second. I know I just put 16 buckets downstairs. But yeah, a lot of stuff has happened. This area up top here is going to be kind of my immersive engineering, crafting, and storage area. I've got a lot of the immersive engineering stuff I've already made just kind of chilling in here, so that I'll be able to use it whenever I need it. I've set up some crafting areas so that we can kind of lay out some stuff for us to look at. We've got our goodies here and our crafting. And then this guy here, obviously very useful. I've crafted a couple more blueprints, and we're actually going to be using this one today to get some stuff started. But we need something from down here first, which was my 16 buckets. This is our kind of underfloor area here. So this is going to be all immersive engineering and a bed. And then down here is just like my traditional block-related storage. And just kind of a couple other things. This is actually a really cool one. This is slag glass. I like it. It's really dirty, but you can still see through it. And I started making little rooms under here. We have a little enchanting room over here. And I moved the sugarcane down under here. The sugarcane is really just going to be for villager trading. I don't think I'm going to need as much in relation to immersive engineering. But I had the space down there and thought, hey, let's set it up. But I think it's time for us to hop into what we're going to do today. I just wanted to run you guys through a quick kind of recap of what we've done so far. I've only built up to this point, by the way, because I don't know how much farther I want to build. But our goal for today is to start on some automation, and that is making some presses to do a few different things for us. So the first thing we're going to need is these guys here is where I'm going to start. Probably not the first thing, but this is where I'm going to start. And this is the, what is this one? The metal press molds blueprint. So if I click R, it'll give us the recipe. It's 1 iron plate, 3 blue dye, 3 paper. And that creates this one here. And this allows us to use steel plates and engineer wire cutters to make a few different presses. And I think I want to make the plate, the rod, and the wire for now. What do we got? A mold packing, mold gear. I'm going to make the gear one. And, you know, I'll make those ones. The other ones I can come back to because I have no idea for this one, or this one what we're going to do for them. And we're just going to drop them in here for now. I've got them made up so I can start working with them. The things we're going to have to do next, and there's a couple different orders I can do this in. I've set up some stuff for some later stuff, but what I want to do right now is I'm going to need at least one of these. Was it this one or this one? It might be the light one, but actually, what's the light one require? It might be this one, and we'll work with that in a moment. What we need now, though, is a little bit more iron. I will just take some out of here. And I'm going to need one of my other blueprints. Where is my components? Crafting components. I could always just leave them in here as well and just kind of swap. But what I want is... Oh, we need to turn this into plates. And we're actually only going to do 16. Because, as I said, we're going to start automating this stuff. So there's no point in me really spending a lot of time, like, durability crafting this stuff up. So let's throw this in here, and that'll get us the steel mechanical component and the iron one. The steel one, I think, obviously uses steel plates. The iron uses iron plates. And we are going to check our book real quick, because it has been a while since I've done these, so I want to take a look. Let's see, metal constructions. Is it going to be in here? Maybe not. Multi-block constructions, here we go. So these guys here, it shows us how to make the light engineering block, the redstone engineering block, the heavy engineering block, and the generator block, and the radiator block. These two are used later in a bunch of power creation machines and the larger machines, but I'm not seeing... Powers, let's check tools. There we go. All right, so conveyors, which we're going to get into today. We'll mess around with that stuff later. What I want is heavy machinery, metal press. There we go. So the metal press requires, let's see, is an automated way of shaping metal. It uses a high-pressure piston to press a mold onto an ingot, forming it into a plate, rod, or other metal components. The structure is created as shown above. From the multi-block, click the piston with the engineer's hammer. Powers input through the top, and items flow across the conveyor. The lower middle block is the redstone control port. Right-clicking it with an engineer's screwdriver allows you to invert redstone control. So what we're going to look at... Oh, I just backed out of that. We're going to need one piston, 2 metal scaffolding, 1 redstone engineering block, and 1 heavy engineering block. Okay, it is the heavy engineering block. And that is a little bit more expensive, so that does require electrum. And my problem right now in relation to electrum is I had 6 ingots of silver, or 5 ingots of silver. Yeah, because I've got a little bit extra in here, but I don't have a lot of silver, so I'm going to have to go out and mine a bunch of silver, which we'll be able to work with here. It's not plates, correct? Nope, but I will need steel plates. And there we go. So that should be everything. I am just going to create 1. So, and then 4 of these guys. 1, 2, 3, 4. This makes it cheaper, by the way. So if you do end up playing around with this using the blueprint, I think cuts it in half. I know I've said it in a prior video. I'm drawing a blank on if it is actually in half or not. But I'm pretty sure it's that it cuts it in half, cost-wise. So let's get this in here. And this will make us 4. And I'm pretty happy with that. We are going to need a bunch. So crafting up the 4 right now will be very beneficial for us. Let's do this. And we'll just stamp the rest of that. That gets us 15. I think that's it. No. How are we making this? Oh, there we go. That was close. All right, so 12. And then we need some of these pipes. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to put those in here as well. And then a redstone. And we need copper. 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom. Having everything all sorted out has been so helpful. I just have to remember to empty these out every once in a while, because I will just fill them up and never touch them again. Which isn't good. But I will end up forgetting about them from time to time. The next item we need is scaffolding. So steel scaffolding is 3 pieces of steel and 3 steel rods. So let's grab, I've got steel in my inventory. So let's make a couple of those. And then, boom. So I've got those. And then I'm going to need to make the next item, which is honestly pretty simple. I think it was this. Yeah. So it's 3 leather, 2 iron, and 1 redstone dust. Creates 8 conveyor belts. So I should be able to make a bunch with the amount of leather I have, but we only need a few to get started. And then we are going to need a vanilla block. So let's swing down here. Let's grab a couple of those. A couple of those. And everything else should be up there. So we're going to make a piston, obviously. Piston. Quick craft. And there we go. So I'm going to set up one of these temporarily over here. I don't know my setup for this area yet. And now we should be able to right click on this guy and bam, this is a simple press. Now that's pretty cool. So now we're going to need some power. So we're going to need one of our connectors and 1 wire. And this should be pretty easy to set up. I may need to finagle that because it may clip this, but I think we should be fine. So we're going to go and put that guy up top. We're going to connect you from here to here. And there we go. It should officially have power. So if I go and grab, I've got iron in my inventory and I want a hopper. So there are ways in the game to connect there's like actual conveyor belts for taking like out of chests and stuff. But you can also just do this. And the other thing we need is this. Now if I go and put this on here, it goes blong and then pops it off the edge. Obviously I can send this out into somewhere else. But yeah, we now have automated metal sheets. And I do want to go through, there's a lot of ways that I want to work on controlling these using redstone signals, which I think I'll probably end up setting up off camera and explain as we're going. But what I want to do real quick is I'm going to get a thing set up for this because there's a couple of issues. One, these batteries are only pulling power, they're not sending power. So I'm going to have to set that up. And I want to get a couple more of these made up and kind of decide where I want to put them in this area here. And then I think I'm going to kind of run you guys through it. So I think we're going to end up doing some more of an automation setup for this later. I was just in my test world playing around with all the redstone components for this, which are honestly pretty cool. But I don't understand all of them. And I'm going to have to do a bit more research on them. I can do like a very basic setup to get this going. The only downside is every once in a while I'll end up losing a couple of ingots, which is fine with iron and copper, which I have set up now, but that could cause me an issue down the road when it comes to working with a rarer metal. And that's what I'm worried about right now. That's where I'm kind of like, yeah, I don't know if I want to, but we'll figure it out as we go. But we are currently set up doing iron plates and iron rods. So the plates, it's 1-to-1, so 1 ingot gives me 1 plate. The rods, it's 2 rods per 1 iron ingot. And then it's similar over here with the copper. The plates are 1-to-1, and the copper wire is 2-to-1. So 1 ingot gives you 2 copper wire. And I just threw in a bunch of stuff in there. I'm just going to let them process. That way I can get a few of these bits going. It'll be nice to have a little bit of a surplus. And we're going to change up our power. I kind of messed around with it, and I have like input and output here. I'm going to change this up for like our little power storage area, but I'm not too worried about it. But I think everything's wired up pretty nicely. This was actually 17 blocks away, 17 or 18 blocks. So I decided to put a middle one here, and we'll just kind of loop them in. And I think that'll work out. So these guys are going to keep going. The downside is if I walk near that stack, I will pick it up. And you can protect it. And I want to see if I can protect the ones that are attached to a machine. So that way I can't accidentally pick it up. And I want to check right here. So I think it's shift right click. No. What about if I just straight up right click? Okay, so I can only do it on these ones here. So there is still a chance that I could accidentally pick those up. So pretty much I just have to avoid walking through here when I'm running stuff. We'll just leave that guy there for now. There's not really much I can do about it. That is kind of a bummer. There is the piece that I was talking about in relation to the conveyors. So let's actually take a look at it. Boom. This guy here, the extracting conveyor, which I can have go into this, and I can actually set its speed of output, and I can also have it redstone controlled. So that's one of the things I did figure out. But I do want to, I'm going to have to look at it, see how I want to do the setup for that. That's really where we're at right now. But I am happy to have this stuff up and going. I won't have to do a lot of stuff over here anymore in relation to grabbing stuff. But one of the things I want to do is, if I'm understanding these correctly, this will do crafting for us. So I want to do this one here, and that's going to require, oh, I put my wire cutters away. I took them out to use them. Let's see. And that's if I'm understanding this correctly. I should probably actually grab the book. Is this in the book? Simple machines, conveyors, routers, turntables, no. Heavy machines, metal press, crusher, sawmill, assembler. Maybe this is actually for the assembler. No. Okay. So let's take a look. If we go into the metal press, it does talk about using, let's see, multi-block with pistons, powers on the top, the lower middle block is the redstone, blah, 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 blah. Engineer's workbench, creating the doohickeys. Okay, there we go. The packing and unpacking molds can be used to compress 4 or 9 of the same item into their relevant storage form. So I could pack the plates into blocks if I wanted to, and I can also unpack them. This may utilize to store ingots as blocks or automatically create simple blocks like sandstone. So I can automate block crafting with these. Okay, we're not going to need it. I thought this was for crafting, but I'm assuming there's going to be a way to craft. I think it's this. I'm assuming it's the assemblers, complex machine capable of crafting items. Yeah. So we'll probably end up building. I might be able to build one of those today. So let's take a look. Steel scaffolding, yes. Redstone engineering block, yes. Light engineering block, yes. Sheet metal slabs, and conveyor belts. So let me get this built up. I want to see how this one would work, because automating some crafting would be really cool. I don't entirely have a full use for this, but this thing's actually pretty cool. So obviously power comes in on the top. This side's my input. This side would be my output when I set up automation, running conveyor belts, and the such. But you can set up to 3 recipes. It holds 32,000 IF. It looks like it also hold fluids. I haven't input any fluids yet. And yeah, okay, right there. I was going to say there should be a fluid input. There is no fluid output. So I would be able to, for example, pump like a bunch of this creosote into here, and we'd be able to go from there. And I think that'll be very useful. Yeah. But what I want to do is we're going to go bop, bop, and bop. And there we go. It just starts crafting things for us. I don't know how often I'm going to use this. I don't know how useful it's going to be for me. But, it'd be cool to have at some point in the future, you know? There's definitely going to be useful stuff for this. I don't think I'm really going to be mass producing too much. But I'm sure if you pulled this into like another pack, like if you were to put this into like a mod pack, having 3 crafts in this single machine, I think it'd be fantastic. And it's not really expensive. So it's 2 of these, a bunch of these, some of these, and some of these, and then and 2 of those, and like that's it. Which isn't incredibly expensive, because like these guys, what are they? They cost copper. And these guys cost copper. So yeah, iron, copper, and redstone. Very early game, very basic stuff to get a hold of. So I think you could possibly get into early game crafting pretty fast. And I'm just trying to think of what I'd use it for right now, aside from randomly throwing just chunks of stuff in there every once in a while. But I think it's good. This is good. I threw in some steel so I could get some scaffolding and stuff made. But I'm very happy with these little things here. So we're going to take a look. I'm going to see if there's any other small automation things we can mess around with today. And kind of throw them up here. I want to show off what I can for what we have for the automation here. So let me get on to that. I'm going to set up maybe another machine or 2. And we'll be back to check them out. So I built up 2 quick machines here. And honestly, this is great. Once you really start getting some stuff going, I think this will be very good. The only downside is I can see resources becoming a huge problem now. I've really been grinding out a a lot of the steel here, and I still feel that I'm not going to end up having like fast enough steel production. So I do have to see if I can upgrade my steel production and kind of start working from there. But one of the machines I built is an upgrade to our bench right there. So that bench there, we do everything manually. This one here, I can do it automatically. So I pick a print, I put it in here, and I put in the materials we want to use and tell it what to craft. And that's pretty much, we go from the engineer's workbench to the automated engineer's workbench. Again, I won't be using it right away, but this is definitely something we'll be using in the future, if not hopefully the near future. Because as I said, I could see it being very useful for like just crafting up like a bunch of an item. I'll just, you know, work to automate it out of the machines here, send it on into here, and we'll be good to go. Just kind of like, you know, as I said, kind of like what this thing is here. I've actually thrown stuff in, come over, grab some stuff, just for some minor crafting. But the other item we crafted is the press here, the squeezer. I think it's the squeezer is what it's called. Let's double check. Boom. Yes, the squeezer. So the one we just made over there is this automated workbench. We create blueprints, and then it will craft out the items that we need. But the squeezer is used to get juice or oil out of organic materials. So it does have a nice set here. I knew that these two were high from playing in the past, so I've been saving up both of these seeds. And I have a good amount downstairs, but I wanted to throw some of these in. Boom, boom, boom. Why are you not getting power? Well, that's weird. This line is getting power, but this is not. Does this use, let's see, multi-block structure, built on its own, engineer's hammer on the wooden barrel from the side that has the engineer's block. Items can be squeezed, applying redstone signal, blah, blah, blah. The following list. That is rather weird. I genuinely have no idea why it's not working. I'm going to look into it. But yeah, so as I said, this here turns it into oil. So it turns the two of those into large amounts of oil. And what you do get to use with that is you do make another machine, which we're not going to make today. We'll probably make it in the next episode, because that'll put us towards kind of our bigger power units. Then that's going to be working towards the diesel generator, which runs on biodiesel, which we use the refinery. And I'm pretty sure fluids are input through the two ports on either side of the block and output through the orange marked port. Using buckets to interact with the refinery's tank is also possible. Yeah, so this here, let's see. Yeah, to produce biodiesel, combine equal parts plant oil and ethanol. So we'll have to build the fermenter as well. And nitrate dust. So we're going to have to check that out. I think that one's new from when I last did it. So there is going to be more we're going to have to look into. I am kind of curious as to why this isn't working. Unless I'm backwards. Maybe orange is output and blue is input? No, because that's there. Maybe there's another power spot. Oh, right there. Haha. Yeah, this is input for that. Okay. Okay. I'm just being a dummy over here. There we go. Let's get that guy there. Whoop. Plonk. And then we'll just send it on up to there. There we go. Now it's getting power. You see it starts moving. And it's just going to start crushing all of this down into oil right there, which is pretty useful. And I can dump it out into buckets. And as I said, it does have the recipes here, 60, 20, 40. And then coke dust will create... Oh, actually, I did not know that. Luckily, I clicked on this. I thought this thing only created oil. This is used for something. Yes. Ooh. Ah, useful. Okay, I would have figured it out when I went to look this up later, but how do we make coke dust? Okay, so yeah, we still need the crusher, which is another machine we'll probably end up building in the next couple of episodes, but I think I'm going to have to really hit the grind between this episode and the next, and really just grind out a bunch of resources. I'm going to have to do a bunch of mining, because as I said, in relation to making electrum, I only have 10 silver left. So we're going to have to get a bunch of silver, a bunch of gold, and that's kind of going to be, I think, our bottleneck, aside from looking into better steel production. If that's something you guys know, please do let me know in the comment section down below. But I do hope I taught you guys something, or at least showed you something a little different. It's really what we're aiming for in this PlayTorial here, and I've been having a blast with it. So as always, I want to thank you for stopping in. I hope you did enjoy, and I hope you all have a nice night, day, morning, evening, or whatever it is, or wherever you are. This is my defense. I hope to see you again soon. Peace.